Guys, in this tutorial we're going to take a look at creating this simple 2D logo animation inside Hitfilm Express. So let's take a look at it one more time and then we will start our tutorial. Alright, so let's create a new composition. Go to File and create a new composition. The template I'm going to select is 1080p at 60 frames per second. You're free to choose your own template and click on Start Compositing. Click on the Composite Shot Properties icon and we're going to change the duration of our animation to 4 seconds and click on OK. Let's start by creating a new plane layer, and we'll call this BG. This will be our main color for our animation, the starting color, and we'll change its color to the light red color and click on OK. Again, click on new layer, click on plane. This will be our circle wipe, so let's rename it circle wipe and change its color to like a yellow color, or you can use your own color if you want to. Again, click on OK. Now to create a circle you can use the mask tool, the ellipse mask tool, but I'm going to go to effects and search for polar warp and apply it on this layer. Now all we have to do is animate this layer, so we'll go into transform and create a scale keyframe. We'll set the scale to 0 at the first frame and we'll move forward to like 1 second in time, and let's just increase the scale and completely fill in this area with our circle wipe layer. So we'll have something like this. Then we'll select these two keyframes and convert it to manual Bezier, and we can create a slope like this. So we have this nice and smooth animation. Then I'll just duplicate this layer and I'll just call this circle wipe 2, and we'll apply a fill color on this. Go inside the fill color, set the blend amount to 100 and change its color as well. Alright, then go inside the transform and we'll select these two keyframes and just shift it to the right by about 3 or 5 or 6 frames, so that we have some displacement in between these two layers. So right now we can't see anything. It's because our wipe layer, the main layer, is sitting on top. So make sure your circle wipe 2 is on the top, followed by your second layer. So we'll have something like this. The next step is to create another plane layer. We'll call this circle. Let's just name it circle, and the color is going to be yellow, and click on OK. Again, we'll apply the polar warp on this layer, and we'll go inside the polar warp and we need to change a few settings right here. So first up is the end radius. Let's change that to something like 270 or 280, and end radius as well. So we'll do something like make a very thin line, so something like 270 looks good. And then we'll animate the rotation and the range. So make sure you create these keyframes at the first frame of your video. I will just move forward to 1 second, and at the first frame we'll set the range to 0 and rotation to 0 as well, and at the last frame we'll set the range to 180. So I'll just make one complete path, or one complete rotation or something like that. So we have this rotation, and then we can select these keyframes and convert it to manual Bezier, and so we'll have this smooth animation. Then what we can do is maybe we can change the position at which this animation ends. So it's ending right at the bottom. We can change the rotation value and we can just decide where we want to end our animation. So let's just end it right over there, or you know what, let's just make one complete rotation like that, and once it crosses 360 you can see this number increases to 1 or changes to 1, so that means you have created one complete rotation. And we'll just put it in our animation right here. So again, I'm going to highlight this keyframe and make sure it is a manual Bezier keyframe, and you can see we have something that didn't work. Okay, why it didn't, I don't know, but just make sure that it makes a one complete rotation here. So I'll just do that one more time, and yeah, let's keep it. It's actually, this right here number represents 360 and we add 71 to it, so it's basically we'll end up with this animation. Okay, and what I'm going to do is we'll just copy these two keyframes and move in between these two keyframes. So let's move in between like 30 frames. I'll just paste these keyframes right there, and what we can do is let's just delete these keyframes and we'll just move forward to like another second, so somewhere over there, and we can close this animation basically. So we can do we can set the range back to 0 like that, so it goes back like that, and we can change the rotation as well. So let's make it, I don't know, I just changed put a random number over there, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we have something like that. That is looking pretty nice. So what I want to do is basically I want to end my animation right at this point. So what I can do is I'll just delete the rotation keyframe, and let's just change this value and bring it right over here. Okay, so as you can see, if I scrub through my timeline, okay, we have something like that. Yeah, that is looking nice as well. So because you just have to play around with these values, and I can see that there is some bit of a subtle movement in this point right here. So maybe I just have to, so it's at 71, I think I just have to, you know, decrease it to 249, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, pretty less movement, so I'll just stick with that. Now the next step is to duplicate our circle layer, and we'll call this circle dot 2 or 2, anything, you can rename it anything. Then what we'll do is go inside the circle 2 layer, go inside the effects polar warp, and we'll just displace all these keyframes. So I'll just move all these to the right side, and I'll also apply a fill color on this. So fill color, search for it and apply it onto your circle 2 layer. Set the blend to 100%, and we'll change its color as well. I'm gonna use this color right here and click on OK. So now as you can see, we have something like that. So that's looking good, but it's missing something. So let's go inside our effects. I think the duration is too much, so what I can do is just move all these keyframes in like that, so the animation should end this time right here, and I'll just do the same with my other layer, the circle layer. Let's bring it in like that, somewhere over there. Yeah, that looks nice. So let's take a look at our animation. Yeah, that is looking fine. Just have to play around with this, and you will eventually get it. So now what we can do is create the last of that circle animation. So one thing we can do is we can just duplicate this circle layer and rename this to logo placeholder, and go inside that, go inside the effect, polar warp, and what I basically want is I want to delete these 2 keyframes. Okay, and at 1 second and 30 frames, I'll just put my playhead at that time. I'll select these 2 keyframes and put it right there. Okay, and then we'll go to transform and scale it down a bit. Let's see what we have here. Let's just scale it down to around 40 or 43, and this is the place where we'll be putting our logo. So if the shape is too thin, you can go inside the logo placeholder, go inside effects, polar warp, and we can change the end radius like that, and I'll make it a bit more thick. So I'll just leave it at 290. So let's take a look at our overall animation. So this is what we have created so far. Now this is the place where our logo will go. So what I'm going to do is I'll just create for logo, I'll just create a text layer. I'll just set its width and height to 200 and click on OK. Then I'll select the text tool and type in the letter M, hit Ctrl A to select that text, go to the text tab. I'll just change it to this font, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll just increase the font size, click on center alignment, and then increase the font size, and I'll just change its color. So we'll just pick this color, pick screen color, click on that option, and you can just use this color right here and click on OK. Next thing we will do is center it up inside this shape, something like that. Alright, so now we have this problem. The logo stays forever. It begins with the starting of our animation. And to fix that, we can go to the text layer. We'll just call this logo, and we can keyframe the opacity. We'll just create a keyframe, set that to 0, and just move forward like 10 frames and set that to 100. So we have something like this, and we can also create a scale animation. So we'll create a keyframe, set the scale to something like 70 or 80, and then we'll set that to 100 like that. Okay, so far so good. Now we can add another text layer. This will be your tagline, so just, or your channel name, anything, you can put it right there. Set the width to 1920 and click on OK. Then select the text tab, text tool, and type in the text. So I'll just type in my channel name, hit Ctrl A to select your text. I'll just decrease the font size and increase the spacing in between the letters like that, and then we will use the selection tool and just bring this text somewhere over here. Won't put it right below this because we will be animating it. So let's just put it right there. We'll call this logo text 2. Now we just have to animate our logo text and the logo placeholder, all these 3 layers. So what we can do is we'll animate the logo placeholder first. So let's go to logo placeholder, transform, and right after this animation ends, we'll create a position keyframe and move forward to about 40 frames, and I'll just bring the position to the top like that, and change the keyframe and make it manual bezier. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just copy these keyframes, do the same thing with the logo layer, paste the position keyframe. So we can change its starting position. It should be right over here, and the end didn't work, so let's just do that again. I'll just copy this, or you know what, let's just do this manually. So just start here, change the position and move 40 frames forward, and just put this text in the center of our logo placeholder. Convert these keyframes to manual bezier. And then we can do the same thing with our text. So we'll start here and start right here, in fact, and we'll go inside logo text tool, create a position keyframe, move 40 frames forward, and bring this text down like that. Select these two keyframes and convert it to manual bezier.